Hey, LT from realityunscripted.com here. More recaps. Oh my God. It's Sunday, so it's like a big reality TV night. Um, Courtney and Kim take New York, the season finale, part two of the season finale. This show is like the bane of my existence. It's like it just bothers me so much because it's like you're watching it and you're trying to make sense of it and you're trying to make logic of something that you know isn't true. It's like just watching it, it's like there's no way that this is possible, that this situation played out like this. There's no way that Kim Kardashian got married to someone that she had only known for 6 months, which there's nothing against that. Hey, no need in dragging it out. If you know that this is who you want to be with, then fine, be with them. But Kim Kardashian married someone that she'd only known for 6 months, and they went on their honeymoon, and they then moved into what I refer to as the suite from hell, because this is like the most miserable place on earth. Scott and Courtney are just so blase, lackluster about each other. Kim and Kris don't know each other. It's just like it's just miserable. And the fact that Kim and Kris know that that them not being able to have any real time together, they don't really have any intimate time together because there's always someone else around that's a distraction. They both know that this is a contributing factor to it, yet they decide to stay in this suite. So it's so bothersome to me that they played out this entire season in this situation and in this scenario. So that's my soapbox on why I hate this show, because this whole situation, I think, if this marriage was real, which is questionable, is something that could have been easily avoided. They should have just got their own fucking suite. I don't understand why they wouldn't move out. It's just don't get me started. So um, it starts out where they kind of picked up where they left off with the John Edward reading. She was saying that she feels that she's become a different person since she's been with him. And I'm thinking to myself, you seem the same to me. Like, she was really bitchy and annoying and controlling and OCD before, and it's like you're still bitchy, controlling, demanding, and OCD. It's just now it's amplified because you have someone that you have these expectations of. It's me. She seems the same to me. She says that she makes like the most dramatic comments that I've ever made. I made like a little list of them. And she says that she feels dead inside. Who says that about their husband? Who says I feel dead inside since I've been in New York and I've been with Kris? Like, who says stuff like that? Kim does. It's pretty extreme. Um, she decides that she's gonna try to make an effort with this situation. She feels like she kind of owes it to herself. She owes it to Kris, and that she wants to try to make it work. So she and Kris, they plan like a date night, and it is the most awkward thing that I've ever seen in my life. Like, he's like tapping, he's playing with the knife. It's just awkward. They're just sitting there staring around. It's like that couple that you see in restaurants that doesn't talk to each other, and then they get so excited when the food arrives because now we have a reason not to talk. It's like everything that I don't ever want in a relationship or a marriage. So it's just it was a season finale, but honestly, it was pretty awful. Kim reveals that she doesn't want Kris moving all her stuff into her house. She constantly refers to it as her house. She never really mentions anything about them or us. It's her house. She doesn't want him moving all his stuff into her house. And so Scott says to her, um, you do realize you're married, right? She has like a breakdown, and she's telling Kris is saying that, well, he's gonna go to Vegas, and then he has to do something in Vegas, and he's gonna go to LA, and he's just gonna send, all of his boxes and stuff to LA. And Kim is like, oh, before you do all of that, I don't have enough my Kim Kardashian in prison. Like, are you sure you want to like do all of that? I don't have anywhere to put all of that stuff. Like, I don't have enough space. And so Kris feels really awkward. He's just like, he's really taken aback that she's saying, don't send all your shit to my house. And so Courtney overhears it and she's like, Kim, you're such a bitch. And like Kim is taken aback because she's revealed to Courtney that she doesn't know if she wants Kris to, to move in with her permanently in LA, and she doesn't know kind of where the marriage is going. She doesn't know if she wants to be in the marriage anymore. And so because she's told Courtney all this, she's a little bit upset that Courtney is now saying that she's wrong for the way she's handling this situation. So she goes and she calls Chloe, and she kind of pours her heart out and she cries, and then Courtney comes and talks to her, and she's, expresses her discontent with her, saying that she doesn't, that she didn't want him to move her stuff into his house. Sorry, I had a brain fart. But during that conversation, Kris said something that was, really spot on. She said that, you're not ready to have someone in your life. And he's just like kind of over it. He seems really, really over it. And Scott, comes and he tries to like he's looking for him because everybody's kind of disappeared. And Scott comes and he talks to Kim, and, he gives her some good advice. He tells her that, you're married and you have to learn how to, kind of negotiate, and you can't leave it up in the air. He's like, you just can't leave it up in the air. It's kind of like she's stringing him along, like she knows that she doesn't want to be with him, but she won't just say it. And he's like, you have to deal with it. You can't, drag this out and take it to LA. You're in New York. You need to deal with it. But of course, she doesn't. And so, she talks to him, and they're going to, kind of move on as if everything is what it is, and that they're going to go back to LA. And so it's like the last day they're there, the end of the trip, and Courtney's like, oh, we should do the, what did they call it? The peak and the pits. And so they all go around and they say what kind of the peak and the pit of the trip was. And Kim said that the peak of her trip was she got to spend time with Mason and see him in the morning and all of that stuff. And she didn't say anything about her husband. And it was just like, I think everybody was expecting her to say something nice about Kris or something, sweet and romantic. And she's like, the peak of my trip is hearing Mason say morning every morning. It's just like, damn, like, throw the dude a bone, for goodness sake. He's trying, but she's just like, Mason is the peak of her trip. So Kris was like, well, that kind of changes what I was going to say was the peak of my trip. I thought that she would say something about me, and they didn't reveal what he actually said, so who knows. He probably said the peak of his trip was he got a fat check for pretending to be Kim Kardashian's husband. So who knows. So yeah, he talks to a buddy of his and just tells him that he feels like he needs to get a divorce. And it was kind of like a shock to hear him say the D word, because it's like they're both kind of thinking the same thing, but neither one of them will tell the other what it is that they're thinking and how they're feeling. And no one really feels like them going back to LA and actually trying to talk to a counselor or a therapist and work on their marriage is an option. So the show just ended with them sitting in the car on the way to the airport. And they were just sitting there. She's looking out of one window, he's looking out of another, and that was pretty much it. There was like no, maybe we need to talk to somebody, maybe we need to address this. I can see that we're both having some conflicting feelings. It's just like a very high school way of them handling it. Like they're just gonna just ride it out and wait for the other to say, I don't want to be with you anymore. So season finale, Courtney and Kim Take New York, was utterly ridiculous. It was pretty sad and pathetic, but I must admit that I'm so glad this show has gone off because I'm so over it. Get a divorce already. You're not trying to work out your problems. That's all for me for Courtney and Kim Takes New York recap. This is LT from realityandscripted.com. Check out the site. I'll probably post like my top 5 moments from the show or something last night. It's going to be hard for me to come up with 5 moments from the show that I like, but Wish me luck. Peace. Toodles.